I said, what if I start talking about Odys becoming a $1 billion company? Wouldn't that be achievable?
I remember hiring a very high-level executive that almost bankrupting the company, and that was a fail on my side.
Sometimes entrepreneurship feels like chewing glass and looking into the abyss. The most uncomfortable decision that nobody else is going to commit to taking in the organization, like the worst. They're going to bring them to you, so get comfortable with that.
Priced. Oh yeah, there's a massive price difference. You can get H domains for, a couple of $100 to thousands of dollars, while the new domain, you can get it for a .com domain is for $10, for example.
And very few people know, but actually I decided to strengthen and grow the company when I found out that my wife was pregnant. It's actually true. It's actually true.
I'm Alex, founder of Odys Global. At the core of it, we're an H-domain marketplace, but we're not just selling domains for the sake of selling. We're actually trying to solve problems in many different industries, from iGaming to legal, crypto, and just a bunch more. The idea of H-domain came into use when I realized you can kickstart any project and get results much faster. And you're also dealing with some names that you can't just hand register because they've been registered a long time ago, so they're not available for new registration. So that has been very fascinating. I also had a fascination for how Google works and how much traffic and leads and business you can get via Google. And when I realized you can use these domains to rank faster and higher in Google to get business for yourself and your customer, then it kind of ticked, and I said, this is a lovely combination, I should pay more attention to it. And years later it made me millions, and the company has grown, and it's been quite a ride. A company that is aimed at growth is a company that is under tremendous pressure every single day. A company is created for the sake of making money. Everyone who wants to go into business has to realize that if the company is not making money, then you cannot guarantee the security of the employees, the partners, the service providers, the suppliers, in which case, if you're not paying the bills, you start going down. So a company has to make money all the time. So in order for a company to make money, there's always some kind of tension. So you have to get used with working under pressure. That's the advice number one I would give everyone. The moment you feel comfortable in a CEO role is the moment you're either going down or you're already losing or have lost. So this is extremely important to understand. A lot of people go into the world of business thinking, imagining riches, imagining fancy cars, anything that sort of resembles luxury. It's not. It's a grind. Sometimes it's hell. Sometimes it's very lonely because you're the only one taking the decisions. If I were to quote, I think Elon Musk, he said, sometimes entrepreneurship feels like chewing glass and looking into the abyss. And the way he explained that is chewing glass is basically the most uncomfortable decision that nobody else is going to commit to taking in the organization, like the worst. They're going to bring them to you, so get comfortable with that. And looking into the abyss is like, you never know if the next decision is a good one or a bad one. It might look like a good one, it may fail. Or you say, no, we're not going to do it, when the reality is it could have been a great idea. So the abyss analogy is basically not knowing. So it's an opaque world, you cannot forecast anything. So you have to use data and intuition at the same time to just live until tomorrow and sort of close day by day. And it's a rough ride, especially if you see growth.
My name is Jan Borkan. I am the CEO and founder of Priority Prospect, and we offer hosting solutions for blog networks. I first met Alex over 10 years ago in a Skype group, and ever since then we have been working together. He had domains, we had hosting. Eventually he became the first customer of Priority Prospect. H domains deliver results faster, and we are in a business where speed matters.
Let's say you need a domain related to Estonia or Thailand or a specific country, or let's say you need a domain related to football, and you can't just find one because there is not a good one. You're forced to go with a new domain, but then most likely you will be investing 5 or 10x amount of time, 5 or 10x the amount of marketing budget or link building budget just to get it to the same level where you would start with an H domain.
Priced. Oh yeah, there's a massive price difference. You can get H domains for, a couple of $100 to thousands of dollars, while the new domain, you can get it for a .com domain is for $10, for example. But you also get what you pay for. You will also technically pay for the authority for those backlinks and the history of the domain.
We use the term premium age domains, not just age domains, because we wanted to emphasize the quality part. Because age domain is a huge world, like it can be anything really that's already registered out there. With premium, you basically reference quality in the first place, then you talk about the brandability of the name, and then you also talk about their use. So you buy a premium age domain not just to, let's say, redirect it to another site, but potentially to launch a business on it. So that was the original idea. That's where the premium came from. Some people might perceive premium as if we're charging a premium. The term premium means you're getting like premium quality.
My name is Marten Saar, and I run a small SEO agency called SEO1 here in Estonia, and I also build SEO affiliate websites. We leverage quite a lot exact match domain names. These are not always expired, so sometimes we prefer the new ones. If we can find an expired domain name that suits our current project, then usually we prefer the expired one. And we don't just build on that expired domain name necessarily. We might use it as a support site or redirect to the main site.
Well, there are many use cases where age domains can be successfully used. I'd prefer talking about one of the main ones, which is iGaming. It's a huge vertical, and there are regulations, and even licensed operators or licensed affiliates in some countries. It's very, very tough for them to operate due to ever-changing laws. So in some countries, for instance, even buying links can be tricky because you have to report that as advertising, and it's just very, very, very hard to do. With age domains, you can operate your own properties, and it won't be counted as advertising because you either own those properties or you use them to your own advantage. The iGaming agency started because the biggest clients, they don't want to just go to the marketplace, add a few domains to cart and pay with their credit card. It doesn't work that way. They need a problem solved. So for instance, one of the biggest problems in iGaming is if you want to rank higher in Google, you need more links, you need more quality links. Getting links is hard. Not every website wants to link to a gambling website, for instance. So they want to build their own assets, they want to build their own website. So who's going to do it? And then we came up with the idea, let's launch an agency and do it on their behalf. The iGaming agency started like 2 years ago, but we've launched it officially just a couple of months ago in February.
My name is Timo Porval, and I'm one of the partners of the SEO Estonia conference. SEO Estonia is all about SEO, of course, and marketing, and how to use SEO knowledge to earn more money. Estonia is a small country, but what is like the really wonderful is like more than 25 different countries fly in here. There is more than 200 participants in every year. We find that Odys is really helpful to support us because you can't do really great conferences without really great sponsors.
Estonia is very attractive. It's a very entrepreneurial society. I think I've managed to promote Estonia to at least 10 people who are foreigners. They're not from Estonia, who've opened companies here and raised relatively successful businesses. The market is small. For instance, Odys is a domain investing company at the core of it. So the Estonian domaining market is extremely small. It's almost non-existent. So from the very get-go, we wouldn't even have it as a target. So even though incorporated in Estonia and having some operations in here, we had to look at the global market, the entire European continent, United States, Southeast Asia, even Africa, Latin America, all these big markets that ended up being very profitable for us, mainly because, well, great coffee, great people, great business, but you have to look broad. European Union has given us tremendous opportunity in terms of doing business with companies on the entire continent, and obviously we wouldn't say no to global business as well. That's why the name of the company, Odys Global, because we really want to strive towards reaching global markets. My main office is in here, so it's not the physical offices that we have anywhere across the world. It's in here, so whenever I close it, I open it for my second startup, which is my daughter. And very few people know, but actually I decided to strengthen and grow the company when I found out that my wife was pregnant with her, because I was making good money from the business, but there was no brand, there was nothing except the money. So I wanted a company, I wanted a brand, I wanted something that would last as a legacy. I knew I was like work, and then work again. But then that's when I realized like I could be selling domains by just interacting with people, either face-to-face calls or I don't know, I could be selling domains via Skype, for instance. And then I realized the marketplace as the first product would allow people to buy domains even it's like 3 a.m. in the morning and I'm sleeping or I'm helping with my daughter. So that's when I realized like I have to invest in a product. And that's where the marketplace as the first core product of the company was built. And it's directly related to the birth of my daughter, yes.
I had a dream. That's why I started Priority Prospect. The first money I won at competition where people had to create tutorials, and from there I got my first $100, and from there I was able to invest into different ways to make a bit more money. So I basically started from zero.
To be honest, it's like doing things in internet. You don't need so much money. You need some knowledge, you need some partners, and that's it.
There is this popular Facebook group and people were asking questions about SEO. Well, it's a marketing group, internet marketing group. They ask all sorts of questions. But I made sure that every question that was about SEO, that I give the most thorough, as correct and as practical advice as I could give. And basically, these answers that I gave to people in the comments started producing the leads for me. Marketing is very intellectual. Your product is your mind, basically, or what you know or what you can do, your skill set, and how you work with your brain. So you can give some of it away for free. And this basically just positions you as a expert. And people trust people that know their stuff. And you can do it for free just by giving some stuff away that you know, and you can sell the rest.
There have been failures as big as almost bankrupting the company. I remember hiring a very high-level executive that almost bankrupting the company, and that was a fail on my side. And there have been smaller failures, like another thing which we have, and it's also one of our values, is the tone of voice. Some people don't like being talked to the way that particular person would talk to them. And as you can see, sometimes $1 million deal is just hanging out there on someone's tones of voice or their behavior. So it's tricky. Well, nobody likes to do business with people they don't like. So there is this saying that for people to give you their business, they have to like you first, and then if they like you, they trust you. And if they trust you, they give you their business. One of my friends used to say that, and I fully believe that it can start with the way you talk, the way you behave, and even your tone of voice. If you're being too aggressive, if you're being too demanding, if you're being too pushy, all of a sudden people just don't feel comfortable in your premises and they will not give you their business. As simple as that. This is also, I think, good piece of advice that I haven't received early in the days, but I would give to anyone. It's still my passion towards reading and books. That gives me that moment of silence, meditation, when I can ponder over things from a different perspective. And that can be biographies, anything really that is non-science fiction, because that doesn't really help. But I find biographies one of the most appealing and probably the most helpful type of content when it comes to books.
Can you suggest 3 books, favorite of yours?
The first one would be 7 Habits by Stephen Covey. At the end of the day, everything that we've discussed, from tone of voice to people first, it boils down to relationship, and that is based on respect. So everyone who's struggling in life should be able to work on how they treat other people. So it boils down to respect. So 7 Habits by Stephen Covey, number 1, definitely. Number 2, if you're starting on an entrepreneurial journey, don't think far, you're gonna fail. And you're gonna fail very fast and very soon. So start with What I Learned Losing $1 Million. I forgot the author, but it's a great book. It's basically a story of failure. Now, most people these days, they try to surround themselves with motivational speeches and success stories. Go the opposite way. Look at failures. This is the best ground to learn from. I think the third book would probably, and it would be a book to somehow compensate on the failure part, would be Warren Buffett's biography. I'm not sure if it's an autobiography. I think he didn't write one. So there is a great author with probably the greatest investor the humanity ever had. So I think that's a very good start because it shows that nothing was built overnight. These are probably the best reads I'd recommend to anyone starting. Obviously there are more books, but if you ask for top 3, these are my top 3.
On April 25th, Odys turned 8 years old.
Yes.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
How could you describe those 8 years?
Well, we've been in business far longer than 8 years, but since the official incorporation of the company has been 8 years, I would describe them as quite a ride. There have been a tremendous amount of mistakes, just like everywhere else. So it's been a very, very hectic and quite intensive entrepreneurial experience. There have been so many pitfalls that could have been avoided, but sometimes you just live and learn. So failing is also part of the game. The last thing is that at some point I realized that there is so much space for growth. And that's when I realized that to some extent I should set higher goals. Why? Because every single objective, financial or not, that I've set, I've managed to achieve. And all of a sudden, it's your own limitation. So in my mind, I said, what if I start talking about Odys becoming a $1 billion company? Wouldn't that be achievable? To some extent, because you don't want it to be tomorrow. It's going to be a journey, a long-term journey. Maybe it will take, I don't know, 5, 10 years, maybe more. And then when you set this big of an objective, then you start thinking like, okay, what are the tools, what are the steps to get there? It may start with doing this interview, it may start with additional personal branding, it may start with increasing your network, it may start with obviously getting out of your comfort zone every single time you can. So that's how the ride has been so far. I think that there is tremendous potential moving forward, and that's where we're heading.
And ever since then we have been working together. He had domains, we had hosting, and yeah.
The SEO Estonia is the third time, happening in a third time.
Let's redo this.
Yeah.
Was this already an actual question? Or? It was? Okay, I thought we were testing something.
You're out of questions. I can keep going.
You're like a machine.